Magda Szabo's Door is a really tough book to talk about because of how acutely intense it is. It is hyper-focused on this relationship between Magda, the writer, and the person she hires to be her housekeeper, Emmerence, like a 60-year-old woman. That relationship is every single line in this book. There is no pulling away from that. When we do turn away as Magda, we kind of fall into these like hard-to-read, fever dream-ish statements about like what's going on in the world, so there's no plot pushing things forward. It's all thinking about Emmerence. So Emmerence is someone who we aren't obsessed with. You might call it obsession, but it's that she is too close to us. So that's the Freudian neighbor, this person who comes too close in proximity to us. We can't get any distance from them. So things like norms and politeness are ways of getting distance from the Freudian neighbor, and it's when this other person is too close in proximity to us that we come undone. And this book is a coming undone. So we do get these juicy moments in the book with the neighborliness and these tearing down moments where Emmerence sees through Magda and says you're not living life right, basically. I don't think the wise peasant moments is the point of the book. I think it'd be very easy to read the book that way, and that's what I'm cautioning against, because what we're getting to is something more structural. If we just say, oh, well, the protagonist couldn't fully adjust to the insight of Emmerence, we should do that ourselves as readers instead. The insight's not that important. It's truly not. It's the stance and the structure that makes this book interesting. So the way Emmerence is structured, she is doing all of this excessive work and being this good person for the treasure she builds up within what's behind the door. So the reason Emmerence is able to function this way in the world, with her intense ethics and energy and the way she sees through other people like the protagonist and how they cling to life without this intensity, it's because of the door. Behind that door, we find out halfway through the book, is cats. She takes in strays. And ethically, she just does so to do so. And she puts onto the protagonist this charge that when Emmerence passes away, the protagonist has to put down these cats herself, because these cats don't have any other place in the world. They only exist as this inner treasure. And this is a charge that the protagonist fully shirks back from. When things take a negative turn, Emmerence collapses from a stroke in her apartment. She keeps the door shut, and she chooses to pass away in her own filth with those cats rather than reveal her treasure to the world. So it's something that she just has to preserve at the expense of her own life fully. And the protagonist betrays her, opens up the door, and saves her life. And the rest of the book is struggling with this betrayal, and this is not an ethical betrayal. This is a shirking back from being able to cling to Emmerence's own ethics as well, to support that. And the cats, they run out, so the protagonist doesn't do what she said she would have to do. There's another level of treasure too. Emmerence was doing all of this work in order to build up a mausoleum for herself and her family. So this infinite persistence into existence in the form of this mausoleum. This is something that comes through in the writing, where you get nature kind of persisting in the midst of this relation. And the really tricky thing is, even though these are aesthetically pleasing moments, this is a way of shirking back from the neighbor. When we look into the infinity of the cosmos around us and the way in which it persists on without us, that's a way of shirking back from our own subjectivity and the way in which our neighborliness, this structural inherent negativity that is not a matter of not being able to come to a moment of understanding and recognition with each other. It's against inner subjectivity. This is something that is structural and inherent to us, not just in terms of strangers, but in terms of the people we love and know the most of all. Neighborliness persists in us all. So when we get to these moments of trying to get into the infinitude of existence itself, and it's very easy for that to be a way of washing away who we are, washing away what's disturbing about this neighbor figure. And so with Emmerence trying to build up this mausoleum, she does it not literally in the form of the mausoleum, like that's just a dream, but she has this inner door within her own apartment where she piles up treasures, and that's something we find out towards the end of the book. It's just, furniture and whatnot, but because it's hermetically sealed, it collapses when this door is opened and turns to filth, to slime. And that's very structural. This treasure only exists when it's sealed away. And so we build ourselves up on that. That's what emerence does. But once other people intrude upon that treasure, it turns to slime, and there's nothing to be had from it anymore. It doesn't function any longer. The difficulty of this book is we do not get into emerence's position. I don't think that's possible. I think we observe it, but the protagonist is swallowed away by this over proximity, and she can't function on her own, either with or without emerence. She gets what she wants most in life. The writer becomes successful, and she clings to her position in the midst of emerence's need of her, when emerence has her health negative turn in her health. And that's a shirking back from the ethics of emerence, an inability to help prop her up the way emerence has propped up Magda her whole life, as the caregiver, as this support figure. So it's a failure to be like emerence. That's essentially what the book amounts to, and so it's a dissolving. She gets what she wants in life, to be this writer figure, and she's not able to really live up to it any longer. She goes around traveling, and she fails miserably at her job. And so there's a giving up of being what she is, but she's not really, she's not becoming something new. She just persists in being haunted by emerence and this door. And the last page of the book basically puts her on the inside of the door. That's this phantasmatic shift. We've fully gotten into the treasure of emerence, and we are the treasure now, and we can't get out. It's somewhat psychotic. It's somewhat saying, I am the thing that's desired. Emerence desired me, because this is an intense love story in this mother-daughter-esque relationship, and the neighbor is inherent to love. Now, my problem with this book is it doesn't do enough with the neighbor. As intensely focused as it is on neighborliness, it doesn't get to how we can be transported. It just gets to this finitude of undoing, which is an aspect of the neighbor. You come undone, your psychic structure collapses, you unalive. That's what we get in this book. It's a dead end, though. There are ways in which you can be transported with this neighborly engagement, and the ethics isn't just this baseline of not being able to be engaged with anything other than existence itself, doing the right thing and building this future in the mausoleum. Like that's what emerence is. There's more to life than that. There are bigger charges in this engagement that are possible, and that's what I really focus on with my engagement with the neighbor and where we've made it dark. When the apocalypse happens, every human engagement is without the buffer of society or politeness. That's what keeps us from being overly too close to each other as neighbors. Neighborliness is our inherent negativity. It's inherent to subjectivity itself. It persists everywhere, not just with strangers, but with your family and friends, etc., your loved ones. So that can be very transporting stuff. That's what's radical, being transported in this engagement. And I don't think this is a radical work. I think it is intensely structurally accurate, but it gets to a dead end. And that's what bothers me. So it's worth talking about and feeling the contours of, but we can go much further than this getting trapped in someone else's inner treasure world. I'm deeply interested in any other takes, though, on this book. If you've read The Door, if you have other angles on what's going on here, I'd love to hear it in the comments. I just don't think the delivery is, oh, look, emerence is so wise, we need to be more like emerence. Her ethical clinging is the most interesting part. The way in which we come undone in this over proximity is interesting, but there's just more to be done.